All right, so we just talked about the eyes. Now it's time to talk about the muscles that control the mouth. Now, first off, I want to point out that we do a lot of things with our mouth that have nothing to do with feelings, right? We talk, we eat, we breathe, we yawn, right? You can do all those things when you're happy. You can do all those things when you're sad. So those are muscles of action, and they are super important, but they generally are muscles that you intentionally control, right? Especially if you're talking or you're eating, right? You're moving your mouth intentionally. And the muscles of expression really are so important to the communication because of their involuntary nature. You cannot help but contract certain muscles when you are feeling certain feelings. And again, that's what makes them such great communicators. And as an actor, you need to learn how to control those muscles on purpose. And as a cartoonist or a storyboard artist or an illustrator, you need to know what those muscles do and how they affect the surface of the face. Now with the eyes, we talked about how generally they control the difference between a passive or an aggressive expression. Well, the mouth controls the emotions that you could describe as either being positive or negative. For example, when you smile, right? Smiling is a positive expression, but maybe you're gonna frown, maybe you're gonna pout, okay? Those are negative expressions. Those are things that we do when we're feeling sad. So kind of like with the eyes, where it was about two different muscles that work in two different ways, it's kind of the same thing with the mouth. Now, there's a lot more muscles around the mouth, but we're gonna simplify it and only talk about two. The two main ones that have the most drastically different effects on the face. And the first one that we're gonna talk about is the zygomatic major, or you could call it the happy muscle. Now, this muscle is attached to the bone right here, okay? That's called the zygomatic arch, or you've probably called it your cheekbone your entire life. Now, so this muscle is attached to your cheekbone here, and then it comes down this way and attaches to the underside of your upper lip right here. So when something brings you joy, that muscle involuntarily contracts and you smile. Now, when you are sad, when something bad happens to you, when you're worried about something, well, there's a muscle that contracts in that situation too. And the most important one there for you to know about is the, this is the one that I always forget. How can I forget the name of this muscle? I talk about this stuff all the time. What? It's the depressor, right? Okay. So how could I forget that? Its name is exactly what it says. It's called the depressor. It's got a fancier name if you're like going for like a scientific anatomy kind of thing, but we're not scientists, we're artists. So we're just gonna call it the depressor muscle. And it is right here and in opposition to the zygomatic major. So it is attached to the lower ridge of your jawbone right here, and then it runs up and is attached behind your lower lip. So when you feel sad, when you spill your food on the floor, when your grandma's in the hospital, what happens? Well, that muscle contracts and your lower lip gets pulled down towards your chin like this, right? And what happens? Well, it pulls your lower lip down and we tend to see some of your lower teeth. Zygomatic major, muscle contracts. When you're happy, you tend to see some of your upper teeth. Again, going back to the concept of upper teeth good, lower teeth bad. Sounds pretty simple, right? Well, not so fast. There are some important exceptions and additions to what we've just discussed, and I'll tell you all about it in the next video.